I just wanted to make a video because I was watching a whole bunch of different stuff on YouTube. And it's important to realize that YouTube is just the world's largest hen house where everybody talks and shares their perspectives on things. And it's not necessarily deterministic. Um, People can create their realities, and we can create self-fulfilling prophecies, stuff like that. As soon as you realize that, you can take responsibility for it, be a participant in co-creating something in reality. Even if it's in your own little household, it's, you can create how your vibe is and how others perceive you. And if you have a overtone that's pleasant or unpleasant to be around, that's probably something I should work on. Take my own advice. And I'll do my best to do that. But what I wanted to just say briefly is that even if the Bible does predict and prophesy specific things will happen, God does reveal to redeem. We can go about things in a certain way, in a certain disposition. And God really is big enough that he can stave off disaster and natural disaster if he so wanted. He can delay natural consequences, seemingly unending to any time frame. And then when he finally does decide to allow the avalanche to cave in, he'll release things over and it'll cave in. And when people talk about grace and mercy and salvation, it's very important to understand that God is a people. And we are made in his image, so we are a people too. A people and a person, same thing. And it's very important to understand that peoplehood, or being a people or a person, and personhood is what we are. And that is the special thing that God created when he created us. Why am I mentioning that? Well, grace and mercy is not a law of physics in heaven. It's not a law of physics on earth. It's not like gravity where it just is always there. Grace and mercy, including God's grace and mercy, is a function of his personality. So when he chooses to bestow grace and mercy upon the recipient, it's because he chose to. So if God wanted to technicality you into going to hell, he would be fully justified in doing so. But if God wanted to technicality you into going to heaven, he'll be just as justified and technically correct at it. So what's important is to realize that grace and mercy is indeed a function of a person. The person being a judge, God, the judger of all things, is going to judge the quick and the dead, and he's going to do so perfectly. And guess what? Just to come head on to the going to hell thing, if you go to hell, if you find out that you're in hell, it's okay. God knows you're there. He'll know you're there. And if God knows you're there and he's fine with it, then you belong there. So just remember that. It's very important to realize that God is a people. He's a loving people. He loves better than we love. You will be hit with doctrinal hammers about denying Christ or, confessing Christ, and confessing that God is the Father. And these are important things. It's important to confess that Jesus is, the Son of God, or Jesus liked to use the term Son of Man for himself. And it's important to confess that God created everything. It's also important to treat one another the way we want to be treated, because we're made in the image of God, and we've got to be able to see the divinity in others. The timeliness for this message is because we're coming into financial collapse. It's probably going to happen. It's probably 10 out of 10 going to happen. We need to behave good even if the money isn't there to justify it for monetary reasons.